I guess we should get this thing started. Let's get into it.
Here's your host, Brian Dean.
All right. Happy hour. Mike is not muted, I hope. Nope. Good. Live. Take down our music here. All right, Friday happy hour. Let's get into it. So I've got myself finally. I've been trying to get this beer since I got here, and I finally found it. Carton Boat beer, one of my favorites. Now that I'm local, I can finally enjoy it. Let's get this thing poured. It's a hot one here down in New Jersey in the area here. Supposed to get some thunderstorms, so I don't hear them yet. Hopefully we get the stream done before they roll in and lose power. So this week I've been working on the What Did You See short still, continuing on this. Basically trying some workflow experiments and trying to basically get like some more consistency with the generations, because it's a bit of a like crapshoot, slot machines, like pulling the slot machine. And when these Seedream generations can be quite expensive, so I'm trying to reduce the amount of chance that is in each generation to try and reduce the amount of generations I need to do. So what I started to do is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I finally broke down and did it. And that is to dive back into 3D, back into Unreal. I opened Unreal for the first time in, a month or so. And basically what I wanted to do was build the chart room that the scene, I had initially done the scene, but I've since been polishing the script. That scene's been rewritten. So I'm going to start it fresh, start it again. And there's some things that have to be in there for the scene to work. So I kind of needed to redo it. I wasn't quite happy with the environment I got. So I generated a few more images, tried to kind of get the design a little better, a little cleaner. Because in the other one that I was using, it had some of that weird like AI weirdness in the background. Things that you're like, what even is that? Not that they were terrible. Like it wasn't going to distract from anything. It would have been fine. But I just figured, let me take this opportunity to try and test this workflow. So what I did was going back and forth between some images that I generated using, what was I using? Nano Banana Pro, and I started to use GPT-2 a bit. But going back and forth between those, hold on. Once again, I'm trying to get I keep trying to get the chat window up here, and it keeps telling me that it's not going to let me put it up. Okay. Anyway, I've been just using basically Nano Banana Pro because it's free. So anyway, beer sport. Cheers. Happy hour. Happy Friday. There we go. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. This is like the perfect summer beer. Okay, so let's get into Unreal. So basically, I went into Unreal and started modeling the set. Now you're going to say, well, that's a lot of work having to model the whole set. It is and it's not, because once you get some images done with Nano Banana or whatever it is that you're using, you can start to say, hey, grab that image, like grab that whatever it is in the background, isolate it, and give me like a front and back view of it, or front and side view. And then you bring that into these AI model generators and you just generate the model, and then you drop that into your set. So you could just kind of pick the set apart and build it by still having the AI generate most of the models. So let me just hop into Unreal here. So we're in Unreal, and this is the set. So let me just, kind of show you. Here we go. So like things like this lamp, that was made with AI. I didn't model that. AI modeled that. Let me put it into lit mode here. This is an actual chart map that I found online. Just dropped it on there. This is made by AI, this little rack of charts here. It might be a little bit too wide, actually. So is this. They're slightly different, but these were both made with AI. I didn't have to make those. Again, this was made with AI. This protractor was made with AI. This little thing here was made with AI. Again, these are those maps again. These books I had, these are stock books that I had. I've got a lot of stock stuff. So the barometer and thermometer, the front face textures were made with AI, but I actually did model these because it was just like, it took like 3 seconds. This desk with these things, that was made with AI. This sailing ship made with AI. This door made with AI. These pipes were in a pack I had. This light up here made with AI. So you can see there's a lot of stuff in here that was made with AI. In fact, if I just find this model here, so these are all the models that are in here that I generated with AI. I even made like a complete wall section. Oops. I even made like a complete wall section, which was a little bit too, again, this is like the weird AI stuff where things aren't really, they don't make sense. And it just was like, the detail wasn't really great. So I figured, I would just build out the walls and stuff myself. But, all this stuff you can see is just, I actually did have a barometer here that was made by AI, but I ended up replacing it. But you can see like this stuff isn't terrible. I mean, it's usable for background stuff. And again, if you're just using it to give the AI some guidance, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like this wouldn't be good enough for like, a CG render, especially if you're going to see it up close. But for, stuff like this, these AI renders, this pawn here, this little pawn, I probably could have made that in like 3 seconds, but that was made by AI. So a lot of stuff here was I think this actually, this was, I don't know what this is. This was in a set. This was some stock thing that I had for the table base. But so basically now that I have this, what I'm able to do is just, look at it from different angles, and then I can just basically grab a screenshot and tell the image generator, okay, this is the angle I want, and make a better version. So what I'm now trying to do is make a wide version of this that's rendered with enhanced textures that looks better, because I don't want to spend time, like I don't want to spend, I made this in about a day and a half. I don't want to spend like days and days and days and days texturing this and doing everything. Like I just want to get it most of the way there and then give it to AI and say, hey, enhance this, enhance the details, enhance the textures, stuff like that. And I'm trying to even like have it guide like the basic lighting so that, basically I'm just trying to get some control back so it's not being totally generated by AI. And let me just pop open the window here. Where is it? Where is it? This beer is tasty. Let me see if I can get okay, I've got the window open here so I can kind of see stuff in the chat. Okay, so let me switch over to this, and here you go. So like here are all the basic, the images that I've been generating, and you can see some of them stray quite a bit. Like this is the thing with AI. Like sometimes you're like, what even is this? What happened here? But I found that GPT-2 is actually much better. It's giving me the images feel more AI-ish. but it's giving me like a better feel. So this is with Nano Banana, and it's really adhering to the image I gave it, which I kind of wanted it to just like, enhance it a bit. This is Nano Banana Pro. This is Nano Banana Pro. So it's like really adhering. And the thing I realized about Nano Banana also is it doesn't like to go dark. One of the reasons why these look so bright is I tried to make darker frames, but it just like filled it with light, and the things that it couldn't see, it just added its own details, which ended up making some weird looking stuff. So I just figured, let me just make it bright enough so that it has stuff to go by. And I can always color correct this later on. So like once we get into, this is GPT-2, this is now we're getting there. Like this looks good, we're starting to lose like some of the, like these things got a little wonky, but all in all, it's like, this is looking pretty good. So this has got the darkness that I wanted, that moodiness. Again, here's another one. This is going in the direction that I want it to go. It's got some really nice detail on the top of this table here. I love that I love the new lamps. This background thing here, looks interesting. So it's kept the bones of the shot that I built, but it's adding detail, which is exactly what I want, right? So what I think I'm going to do now, what I've been trying to do is like generate a left and right view from this, but I'm still getting some inconsistencies. So I just need to get a solid straight view, a solid left, and a solid right. And once I have that, I'm going to go back in and start generating these shots. I think maybe what I might do is just generate an ultra wide shot where I can see both walls and use that, and then just punch in a little bit. Because I think that'll be good enough if I provide that with the reference. So I think the images, I'll show you the images that I gave it. So it's just like a gray box, right? Just the lighting with no textures. And then also, oops, oh great, I lost it. All right. This was my happy hour image that I made. So we've got this one. These were the images from, why does it keep doing that? These were the images from Unreal that I made. And so you can see it like it did a pretty good job of enhancing things. But I like things like this, like these things I kind of need to be, these are story elements. So at some point, the way it's in the script now, Bill's going to point to one of these and, show that, hey, the pressure's dropping, weather's changing, So this actually has two barometers over here. But hey, one's a backup, sometimes, one of them breaks or something. These are actually thermometers, I think. I don't know. I've got to maybe change them up. But the barometers have to actually, those are the things that have to kind of stay. We're going to actually see those, so they have to kind of like be there in the shot. Now, if they're not, it's not the end of the world. If they're kind of don't show the correct thing in the wide shot, but then in the close-up it does. But it would be nice. These are the things about AI that are a challenge. So that's basically been the workflow thing. And I wanted to make a video about this saying, hey, don't uninstall Unreal yet. And I actually I've decided to not renew Maya. I still have a few more days on it, but I might now have to renew it because I have been going back into Maya to do stuff. But I don't know. I mean, I think I'm definitely gonna have to do this for the interior of the sub, which I've started doing that as well. The biggest reason is the stuff that I'm getting, like the images I've been trying to generate the interior of this thing, and it just everything looks terrible. It's one of these things where there's just no training data on this type of thing. So I'm just going to have to make it myself, or at least give it some guidance of like, hey, this is, where things are, just to keep the spatial orientation correct, because it just, it's going to just drift all over the place. And again, what I'll probably do is just do an ultra wide shot like this, where you'll kind of see everything we need to see. Because when you're shooting, you're kind of staying, you don't cross the line, right? You're staying on that half. You don't flip to the other side because it can be disorienting. So you kind of like pick a line where you're going to be, where you're going to be shooting from. And then only occasionally do you, cross the line. But you do that, like I said, you've got to be careful when you do that, because it can be very disorienting, because all of a sudden, things that were oriented on the right side of the screen are now on the left side of the screen. And, if you're not aware, you can do it. It's just, you have to be aware of that you're doing it, so that the audience doesn't become completely disoriented. And you certainly don't want to keep hopping back and forth between both sides, because again, that just can lead to some confusion. So I'll probably have to do something with the interior of the sub to keep the angles like where they need to be, so I can have more control over where that camera is being placed. At least for I'll have a few, like, probably try and just have a few shots that I can lock off as saying, okay, this is my wide, this is my close up, maybe close up 1, close up 2. Get those, and then feed it those reference images, and from there I should be good. It should be good to go from there, and hopefully keep things consistent. So a wide, a couple close-ups, maybe a wide, a medium. Well, a tight shot's just going to be the wide shot up close, but maybe just a couple different angles. So anyway, that's kind of the plan. Just try and use like the 3D stuff to enhance the workflow, guide the AI a bit, and get a little more. Thought I heard thunder, and just get a little more control back, from the model, from the randomness of AI. I think it's a motorcycle, actually. Yeah, it is. So that has been the workflow, and I think it's working out pretty well. Like I said, I think, and you know what? Here's a crazy thing. This has actually been fun. Like, it's actually been fun making this. Part of the thing that I don't like about AI is like there's a sense of fulfillment that comes from like actually making stuff and like looking at the set. Like, I just built that. That looks really cool. You just don't have that with AI, So I'm kind of getting some of that back. This has been fun to make. Like I said, again, a lot of the pieces are from. This is way too big. Now that I'm looking at this thing, oops. Like, if you were to put this map on the table, it would be too big, right? Wouldn't it? Or maybe it wouldn't be. No, maybe it's actually the perfect size. That's actually the perfect size for this table. Okay, never mind. It's fine. This is actually a naval map of the North Atlantic. It's an actual map. That will, again, that's going to be a story point. We'll have to see that up close at some point. So it'll have to kind of make sense. Let's see, what else? That's basically what I've been doing this week. I started down this path, and I was like, I want to make a video about this, but I'm still having some issues. I want to try and refine it, or maybe get a little closer before I make a video, so I can hopefully have like some more tips and tricks of how to get the best use out of this stuff. But I do think, let me show you the actual generations here. So I've been using, what is it called? Tencent. Hunyan Tencent. So these are the generations I've been making. So these are all the things that have been in that shot. And you can see I even started trying to build like a model of the sub. It doesn't quite have, there's supposed to be side pieces, but I figured I would try and build it in pieces, like build just the center part, then build like the outer parts. And again, this will be for staging. I can actually move this around, build like a rough underwater set, and place this where I want, and then like use that to kind of control the camera, the angle, and stuff like that. So, I'm starting to build out, little pieces of the submarine here. So here's this. Again, there was an arrow in the image pointing to the porthole, so it actually put that in the model, which is funny. But so you can see, like, this is just a quick, easy thing to make. And again, like, you wouldn't be able to use this really for anything, but I don't, it's just for reference. It's for guidance. So it'll be fine, right? It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. So here's the map thing. Just to roll a rack of maps. Here's the door. It's like stuff like this. You don't have to build everything. You just pick that image out of your set and have Nano Banana make, a reference image for it. And then you just, throw it into here and it models it for you. So that's been kind of the workflow. And it's pretty quick. And like I said, it's nice because once you have these pieces, you can dress your set the way you want. You can put things where you want them to go. You can actually think, okay, where do I want the lights to go for composition purposes? Where do I want objects to go? Because you're thinking ahead of, okay, how's the scene going to play out? So I don't want something that, to be in the way, or maybe like, you want to just do some art direction of certain things. This was the top light. I'm not crazy about how this came out, but again, I just am like, whatever, it's fine. And the AI, when it renders this, has been doing a decent job of making it look like what it's supposed to. But this is, the overhead light fixture. I was like, I don't really feel like modeling this thing. So I just made it. And the inside's a little wonky with the tubes being different sizes and whatever. But, I don't even know if they had fluorescent tubes back then. But, so there you go. That's been kind of the workflow. And if I hop back into Higgs field here, let me see if I can find, so, basically I just grabbed stuff out of the shot and I said, let's see, recreate. Hello? Oh, okay. So this was just a prompt, a navigation compass, the kind you draw circles with. This was just a 1950s naval desk lamp. This was trying to remove the arrow. This was just create a barometer face, stuff like that. And I think there was a door one somewhere. But, you just generate these images and then you bring these into these. You can use like Meshy or, whatever it is you want. The reason why I've been using this one is because you get 20 free generations every day. So I can make 20 models every single day for free. So I just figured, all right, I'll use that. So, here are the little, I wanted to put a little model ship on the table. So I'm like, I don't want to model a ship and I don't want to have to go buy one. It's just like, I thought it'd be cool to have there. But, I just had it make me a model ship on a wooden stand. So there's just a little, little tchotchke thing on the background sitting on the shelf. So, that's been, kind of the workflow I've been going with this week. And, here's this back table that's got these, these nonsensical instruments on it. This beer is so good. Oh, it's got like a little bit of citrus in it. It's so good for a hot day. So good. And it is 4.2% alcohol. So it's like, not a butt kicker. You know what I mean? It's like super mellow. So you could actually have a few of them, and it's not gonna kill you. Which in the summertime is just so nice, So yeah, I mean, these things are nonsense, right? And I was actually thinking of making these on their own, because the more things you put into the model, the more it's going to turn into nonsense. So I was thinking, well, I could just generate those on their own, and then they'd be a bit cleaner. But I was like, who cares? You're not going to see them. And if I hop into Unreal here, like, they're back here. You don't see them. So who cares, right? It's fine. Like I said, the purpose of this shot, this render won't be in any of the generations. It's just to guide the AI to say, hey, this is where things are. And so what I've been playing around with doing is like giving it something like this that has the textures on it, or giving it something like, switch to like the lighting only, where it's like, hey, just, here's basically where the objects are. And having it put down the textures and stuff, but just like, this is where things are, but just texture this. But the problem I have with that is that, like, you don't see the maps on the table, like they kind of disappear. So, like I said, I'm still trying to figure this workflow out, like the best way. I really screwed up these books here, didn't I? Look at this. Look at this. Human user slop. This human user absolute garbage. Look at it. Look at it. Look at this garbage. This human slop. Just fix that up. All right, there we go. This one's too high. So yeah, and you can even do like, if you really want to, you could even do like a path tracing. I hope I don't kill this because I'm streaming. But again, it was like I was trying to like figure out how far do I want to go with this. Like I kind of like having the hints of the red lights. I'm kind of debating having them all around the room, but I also kind of like having there be areas of darkness. So, I'm kind of playing with that. But I really like the renders I'm getting out of GPT Image 2. So I think it's doing a good job. I think it's like pushing things kind of in the right direction. And it's kind of like part of the issue with Unreal is, like I said, for it to really look good, like all the textures and everything have to be, they got to be, you start spending like way too much time on something that you're not actually going to be using. So I don't want to like go crazy with this. Again, I did this in like a day and a half. So yeah, I mean, I think like ultimately, go back to lit mode here. If I go back to lit mode, okay. So if I go to my front view, so I think the problem was, I think the problem was I wasn't quite centered. Oh my God, this is really slow. So I think I need to get like a view that's kind of like this. Like this is really wide and it shows the whole room. And this is basically everything we're going to see in any shot, right? So we're never going to be looking this way. So I think this, if I could get this, an AI render of this that looks good, I think that's all I need for reference for this room. And then I'll probably do like a couple close-ups of this just so it knows like, hey, that's important. Because again, he's got to look at the barometer. The barometer has to be in the change area. And there's actually like a little, you put a little like, there's a little like, I don't know what they call it. There's another hand that you can mark it there. So as the needle moves, you can see where it used to be. So like if it's, dropping or rising. the pressure. So that hand is going to be higher. So, it's in change, but it's also indicating that it's dropping. So it's just like it's a story point, has to be, has to make sense. So it's just one of the things that I want to try and like make sure that comes across and stays, accurate in the renders. So yeah, but the script is done. The draft of it's done. I'm going to probably spend this weekend polishing it up, just rereading it a couple times. But I had to rework the conversation that takes place in this room. This is the most important scene of the whole thing. This sets up everything. Tells the audience like what's going on, what the stakes are, it establishes our characters. Everything happens in this room. So I spent this week working on it as I was doing this stuff, and I think it's good. I think it's done. It might change as I generate, clips and start dropping them into the edit. I might change some dialogue here and there, but I think for the most part it's done. It's 21 pages. Do I have final draft? I do. It's 24 pages. Ooh. 24 pages. Yeah, it's a short film. No, it's not a short film. It's an actual, it's a freaking episode of a TV show. Ugh. So I don't know how long it will actually be. And a lot of this is just action. There's, so I don't know if it'll actually be as long as that, but I'm going to go for it. Hell, I'm going to go for it. I want to see what I can do with this. I feel like I can do it. There's nothing stopping me. It's not like, oh, the effects are going to be too hard to do, or none of that stuff is an issue. It's just it's just credits at this point. It's just, do I want to spend the money on credits? I get a certain amount per month. I've got 2 accounts. I get a certain amount of generations per month, basically 15 or 20 generations in each account, roughly is what it works out to. And then I've got unlimited for another couple weeks on top view, which, but that's only 720. I think I really need to go 1080. But, it's I think I just have to go for it, But the script is ready to go. That was worked on this week. This new workflow. Like I said, I wanted to make a video about it, but I need to push forward a little bit more and just see if I can figure out some more things about it. Because it's definitely promising, right? And like I said, this is even, I didn't really want to spend too much time on the lighting. I just wanted to indicate that it was kind of dark and just, the center table's lit with overhead lights and, there's some red lights in the background. And that was kind of enough for I think what I needed to show. And like I said, going any darker than this, I'd kind of like to push it a little more. But when I do that, like I said, if there's stuff that's hard to see, or the AI, Nano Banana just fills it in anyway, just brightens everything up. So I was like, well, whatever. But GPT Image 2, actually, like I was showing you, does a much better job. So if I pull those back up here, so we can just, I suppose, flip through some of these images. So some of these, it's staying very, very, very close to what I gave it. And it's only adding I said, just create 1950s chart room based on the reference, enhance detail and realism, cinematic, dramatic lighting. So it's sticking very close to what I gave it. And it's adding some coffee and these books, an ashtray. This one, it just made up its own thing. It was oh, I'm just going to make my own thing. Okay. Again, it's Nano Banana it's very good at adhering to the reference you give it, which is a good thing and a bad thing, because I kind of want it to be a little more creative with the image. Like I had these indications that I wanted some volumetrics here, and it's like being a little too literal. Like it's giving me actually even the render artifact there. So I took those off. But like this stuff it added, like that's cool. But then this, I don't know what's going on here. Like this, like wood panel turns into, I don't know what's happening there. But again, that's a case of like, I don't know. Again, it kind of made up its own thing. Just some of the images here. That like just kind of made up its own thing. I think this was based on the gray image. Yeah. So there's no textures. I basically just, let it do its thing. But when we get to the GPT-2, this I like. This is good. Like this, now we're getting there, Now we're getting there. And, I guess there's a couple things I could do. I could go back into my Unreal scene and try and push my Unreal scene more like this. But again, it's like, how much do I want to be dealing with textures and stuff? Because, it starts to get back into doing a lot of, manipulating the textures. And, I'd have to create a new texture for the top of this table. So I would love to just get this image, but again, like if I could just go a little bit wider on the right here, like I have in here, if I could get this image. In fact, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm going to okay. So there's our center. This is really obnoxiously slow here. So this is our whole room. This is everything we're ever going to need to see. So I should make this Control-1. That's now my bookmark. So we've got our camera angles marked. And how do I turn this off? And I will... Your memory has been exhausted. Oh, okay. Well, it's probably because I'm streaming. No, go away, please. So if I grab this, and if I save this here, and we'll say room front. Yeah, replace that shit. Okay. So let's see. Actually, I think. Well, let's see. Okay, so if this is the front, so it was a gray render. So if we take this, okay, that was just trying to get, I was trying to get a right view and it wasn't giving it to me. So that gave me that, and not like the right view. So this is, I was trying to get it to like look both ways, and that's where it was like, like this, like what is it doing? So I think, like I said, if I just get a wide enough image, so if I got the prompt for this, and if I just trade out the front, the new front that I just did, that's not the gray one, it's that's it. Okay. Yeah. So we get rid of this. And let's see what we get. So ChatGPT image 2, 16, we'll go 21 by 9. And 1950s photograph, enhanced realism, cinematic lighting, wooden table on top of metal cabinet, brass barometers and thermometers on the walls, gray gunmetal walls, incandescent bulbs overhead, although they're really fluorescent, but whatever. Red lights as accents, maps hanging from racks on the wall, vintage, great. Okay, let's see what we got. 12 credits. I've used, see, this is why images, if you get a plan, if you subscribe to one of these, make sure you have unlimited image generation. I have essentially gone through all of my credits for the month making images before I've even gotten to videos, because I'm trying to use, I have unlimited Nano Banana, but I don't have unlimited ChatGPT 2. Now I probably could have gone 2K instead of 4K, but this is the thing. The images are so critical that if you sign up for one of these things, make sure that you get a plan that's got some kind of free image generation. They're going to usually be like relaxed. You're not going to be able to make as many of them. And sometimes, like, if they have these extra tools, like Higgsfield has like all these different tools like supercomputer and all these things, you can't use the free generations with those other tools, but that's okay. Like, you still need to have them, because for these things it's okay because I'm into the final image phase, but I've done a lot of experimenting before this, and you just it kind of sucks that I've burned through all my credits almost. I have generated a few videos, but I would say about half of it has been just images. So it's imperative that you have a plan that will give you, and most of them do, but you're going to need it. You're going to need it. So I'll wait and see how this comes out. And I think that's going to be the end of the stream, because this is essentially the pipeline, that I've been going through. And I'll just show you kind of like, hopefully it'll be a good result, but taking an image, from Unreal, and just, I just adjusted the camera view a little bit, and we'll see what we get out of it. This is kind of an issue here. Says I said incandescence, and so it's like those are incandescent bulbs. Like it should have. I don't know if they had compact fluorescence in the 50s. Did they? Oh, we got one. Okay, look at this. So see, it gave me the wider image, and this looks pretty good. It's not perfect. I'll have to do a few more generations, but I like the lamps. I like what it did with them. These things get a little chunky. This has got some kind of wrapping on it now. It's cool. Like, I like this, but you can see that it really did take that new camera angle. I lost my little wooden ship here. Oh, what happened to it? But you can see, like, I'm liking the look I'm getting out of this, which is why I'm spending the credits to generate these. But I think if I generate just a couple more, I'll get it right, and all I need is this one wide shot. And so another thing I was trying to do was to actually take something like this or drop the reference images in with this wide shot and get Higgsfield to actually just do a camera pan of the environment and use that to pull those side frames and stuff, because then it's like creating a coherent, all-in-one shot. And I can be like, if it looks good, I'm like, okay, I like the way it looks. So now I just grab that frame, and now I have my right view or my left view or whatever it is. I was experimenting doing that. But I think for doing this, all I'm going to need to do, another thing we could do. Do I want to spend the credits? Yeah, I don't know. But then, so once I have this, then I can go back into Nano Banana Pro, and I can start using this. Say, hey, this is the look I want. And then start generating the images. I won't need to have all the Unreal renders. Well, I still could use them, But I can say, hey, here's the look, here's the textures, and then the other ones I'll just give it the gray renders. Like here's just gray box renders, like where things are. But here's like the textured lit version, right? So anyway, that's kind of the workflow that I'm playing around with. I like what I did with the table here. It kind of made this feel a little more like I don't know why there'd be vents in these cabinets, but I put in some animals in there or something. They need to breathe. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for the stream. But yeah, that's the workflow I've been working on, and I've been having some decent luck with it. Let me close out Unreal. Actually, I need to save all. Get that new, that's a little too high maybe. I don't need to see that. Oh, that's because I'm not full screen. Yeah, so that's the workflow. And like I said, I'll be generating real shots hopefully by next week. And yeah, I've got to figure out on what the video is going to be. It might be on making music, or it might be on kind of this new little workflow of using Unreal and like Maya or whatever, whatever 3D software you have. Because you can see, like, one of the problems I had before was like it's kind of putting the camera in weird places. It's doing weird angles. Sometimes it's good. Like sometimes I like what it's doing, but it's just I when I want it to give me random stuff, I don't mind. Like, hey, give me some random stuff. Maybe it'll give let me see what it comes up with and get some ideas and brainstorm. Or I'm like, no, I know exactly what I want, and you're not giving it to me. That's where it gets really frustrating. So this is the attempt to try and like get to the part where I'm like, hey, I know exactly what I want. Just give me what I'm asking for, right? And it still has a lot of randomness in it, but it's not as much, right? So I don't like, I closed Unreal, but the stuff on the table are, these are different. Kind of change that up a little bit. But I did tell it to enhance things. So, but it is giving me some like weird, AI-ness. Like these are just getting a little chunky or something. These books, oh, it gave me some, look, the books are kind of different. They look varied. The maps are a little different. So yeah, anyway, I've got just a little sip of my beer here. So now that the beer is gone, the stream is all over. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was exciting. And let's take this thing out of here. What should we play? Let's take this thing out of here. Why is it not? Where's my volume? Let's get some volume here.